Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
All right, we're back again for episode 218 of the Massnomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Tommy, are you ready to educate these fools on how to get strong, how to stay strong, and how to use their strength?
This is going to be like the Wikipedia article on how to do that.
Yeah, if you Wikipedia'd how to get strong, how to stay strong, comma, how to use your strength, a video of this podcast would
first
pop
there'd be
up.
the Massenomics logo, but then, yes, there would be a video of this.
Yes. We got a lot of big things to talk about this week. We talked about some big stuff last week, and it led to even bigger things this week. But Tommy, nothing important went on in your life this week, did it? Or
No, I didn't have a baby or anything.
and that was the big thing I was alluding to that we would do.
It was,
if
we got 200 podcast reviews, I would have a baby. And I talked my wife into it, so we had a baby this past weekend.
How did you do it so fast?
Well, science nowadays can do some pretty amazing things.
Yeah, it's like was it anything like that Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito film?
It was just like that, actually. It felt like it was happening in real life.
So what's the dad life like so far?
I'll be the first to admit I know nothing about babies, so it's been okay, that's how babies work, huh? But really, I mean, babies they eat, sleep, poop, repeat. I mean, that's pretty much what they do right now. It's a fairly straightforward process so far. The biggest thing probably as a new parent is the paranoia of all the time. Am I doing this right? Will this break the baby? Is the baby okay? Can the baby just you're just always, me especially, always second guessing myself. My wife has to be like, no, this is okay. It's a baby. It's not
you have to check to make sure they're breathing all the time.
Oh,
and
yes.
Stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But so far so good. We're 3 days into this, so things are. It's I probably don't need to go too much into the fatherhood thing. Either you don't have kids and you don't care, or you do have them and you're
you already know.
I know,
I
get it. But
the only people that are interested, maybe that are people that have a kid that's 3 months away from being born, and they're like, oh, okay, that's important.
Right.
That's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know.
It's one of those things. It's just such a overwhelming, crazy, indescribable experience. You just got to be there and just it just happens to you. You just got to go with it and roll with the punches, and all of a sudden, boom, there's a baby there. But yeah, it is no doubt about it a life-changing experience, and I'm sure that's what everyone says is how everyone describes it. But there is a reason they say that, and that's because it is.
That's true. Are your nipples getting sore from all the breastfeedings?
Yeah, for some reason my milk isn't coming down yet. I'm doing something wrong, I think.
Yeah, just keep trying.
That's what the nurses say. You just got to keep trying.
Yeah. That's about as big as news gets. So we both had babies over the course of the podcast now.
Yeah,
that's
just growing as people on the podcast.
Yeah.
People get to hear us grow up over here.
I wonder how many people have birthed babies while listening to the Massnomics podcast.
That's a good question.
Or conceived, for that matter.
Conceived, yeah.
Yeah.
That's maybe a more important metric even.
Right.
How much conceiving's going on?
Yeah, I imagine there's been a lot.
Probably. Based off of our number of listeners.
Yeah. So I don't know if that gave it away that you alluded to we were going to do something big for 200.
Maybe we should do our ads before we get too far.
Oh God,
Tanner.
We had so much big stuff to talk about.
Our sponsors should like this though. We just weave them even deeper into the show, so it's harder to skip past them.
Yeah, you can't. They're unavoidable now at this point. Today's show is brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. The show is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training related, nutrition and body composition related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. Make sure to use our discount code MASS, M-A-S-S, in all caps. That'll save you 5% off any training or nutrition membership for the life of that membership. Visit hybridperformancemethod.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Caps was on a mission to make the best bar possible, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house, had the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, Massenomics, international, Massnomics, and world powerlifting records have been set and continue to be set and broken on the world-famous Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of your very own, visit texaspowerbars.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using our discount code MASS20 when they check out. Thank you, sponsors. Good catch on that, Tommy. We would have had some hell to pay had we not read that. Beginning
I'm
ad.
all about the money here.
Yeah,
I don't think upset them.
We've never missed one of our reads before. We wouldn't.
That's actually kind of surprising.
Habit.
Yeah, we've never just accidentally done it because I think we've both gotten fairly far in the process, but one of us always catches the other.
Right. Yep. So we're still good. All right. What else were we talking about?
So we did have some more big news.
We did have big news, and you alluded to it with you decided to go ahead and have the baby because that was part of what we were going to do. If we got to 200, we haven't officially said if we got to 200. Tommy, do you want the good news or the bad news?
I want the good news.
Okay.
Unless you want to phrase it differently.
I actually want, now that I think about it, I want to give you the bad news first. It fits in better for my plan here.
Okay.
We are not at 200 5-star Apple Podcast reviews. What? That's the bad news. We were really hoping that at the end of this week, we would be at 200. Do you remember last week we were at 182? And the biggest week we had ever had, I think, was about 10. So we were thinking maybe we could get this done in the next 2 weeks or so if we were.
That all sounds correct.
Lucky. Yeah. So we were at 182. We did not land at 200 in this week. But do you want the good news?
I do want the good news.
We're at 202.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, we made a 20 5-star podcast review jump in 1 week.
Yeah, if that's 20. Not putting us on the hot charts at Apple, I don't know what can.
20's got to be fairly significant for fitness podcasts in 1 week.
I would sure think so.
Like,
I'm going to try and just do some really quick looking here. I'm probably just going to be completely shocked how wrong we are, but
yeah, I think we're a ways off probably, but I have checked on you can go through Apple Podcasts and you can look at the categories and you can scan through fitness, and a lot of the most popular ones I don't even recognize still.
Yeah,
but
that's the thing is I look through it and it's like, it's like
it's not what we
this type of stuff.
It's not what we associate as. But some of them are in there. Like 50% facts is in there. There's a few. There was a handful of them I would recognize. Ours is not in there, but based on the ones that I do see in there, I don't feel like we're terribly far off of being lumped in with some of them.
Yeah. Well, the first one I clicked on does have 5.8 thousand reviews, so I guess we're nowhere close to that.
Yeah. What's the name? What is that one?
That was Mind Pump, and I believe that they did something with like hybrid recently. Is why that one sounds familiar? I could be wrong.
Okay, that sounds familiar to me too, but that's also like kind of the name of half of the lifting podcasts is Mind Pump. That just sounds really familiar.
Yeah. But anyways, though, we are at 202.
We're at 202.
Incredible accomplishment.
Yeah, we made a 20 review jump, which is unprecedented in our how many years have we been? We've done 4 years, over 4 years.
Yeah.
In our over 4 year
we
history.
got 10% of them in 1 week.
Yeah, that's crazy. So we did hit it. We also have a bunch of them to read. And we've been promising something big once we get to the road to 200, and I guess now is the time to reveal it. What the big prize is? We get to start the road to 300. Hashtag road to 300.
So on to bigger and better things. Now we're on the road to 300.
Great start though with that 202. You know,
We're over 2/3 of the way there already. So
yeah. No, there actually is something even bigger that we have to unveil. But do you want to first, before we do that, do you want to hear some of these new 20 reviews? You know.
yes, yeah. Before we actually do,
Yeah.
Before because we do have something and we got to just keep drawing it out.
Yeah, yes,
But yeah,
right.
if you listen, you will be rewarded.
Right.
Yeah. Let's hear some of these reviews.
Okay, and this is by far the most reviews there's ever been to read. I think I counted there's 18 new reviews to read this week. So I won't draw each one out quite as much as I usually do, because otherwise that would take up the entire rest of the show.
That's the episode.
Yeah. And also someone sent a screenshot at me. I don't have these because I didn't save them, but for our UK listeners, they have a whole separate set of reviews. Like they're not accounted in our 200. They have like 25 reviews out there, and they're all ones that we can't read here because like geographically for Apple Podcasts, depending on where you live, that's what you get to see for the podcast reviews.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, maybe
yeah.
we'll have to do some digging, see what we can. Maybe there's just this whole foreign language of our foreign slang of words that we have out there that we could
Right.
be. You know, there's some talking about things that we don't even know about.
Right. I was interested to see that there even was like 15 reviews out there from the UK region. I was like, that's better than what I might have
Yeah,
guessed.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
So this 200 number really is even sandbagged because that's not the worldwide number of podcast reviews. Okay. Here we go. Number 1 this week. It's 5 out of 5 stars, and it's from Lou Nutter. And the title is Trying to Get In Before They... And then it trails off. And he says, at the rate they charge for lift shorts, it won't be cheap. Still need to pay interest I collected for looking at the lift shorts. Yes, that's interest accrued for even browsing our lift shorts on the site.
He's got a good point. A lot of people forget about that part of it.
Yes. Okay, next one. These are all 5 out of 5 stars, so I'm not going to keep repeating this every time. This one's from Big Joe and the Boys. He says, I was lost. As I sit in traffic in my 99 Buick LeSabre, enjoying my 5th McDonald's apple pie, I wondered, how do I get strong? How do I stay strong? How will I use my new acquired strength? Well, these guys had the answers I needed. Stay crispy.
That's good.
That is a good one.
He's a man of class when he's in a Buick.
99 Buick LeSabre. That's a classic.
That's like American muscle right there.
Yeah, that's a trophy car. Okay. Next one's titled Road to 200, and this is from Buttons, and Buttons is he works with Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat.
Okay.
Am I saying that in the right order? I always get that, switch that around, or is it Kind of Fat, Kind of Fit?
Now that you say it, I'm not even sure.
I think it's Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat. But I always
kind of
cross that
fit, kind of fat.
Yeah. But he's a big supporter of Massenomics, and he does a whole bunch of stuff for them over there. So thank you to Big Buttons. And he says, if you're not listening to this show already, you cannot imagine the life-fulfilling satisfaction it brings. Kings of the Dakotas and creators of the new world currency of the 0.005% elites, lift shorts, obviously. Good luck on the road to 200 from one company to another.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sounds good. So go support Kind of Fat. Say it again, Tommy. What's the correct
Kind
order?
of fit, kind of fat.
Kind of fit, kind of fat. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. I just don't know how to say it right. So, okay. Next one is from Stoked Joey. Breaking PRs is the title. And he says, weather updates are always on point.
That's what we do.
Yep. That's it. Next one is from Todd J. Olson, and his title is One of the Best. He says, love the pod. Keep representing South Dakota, fellas. We will.
That's also something we're kind of okay at, I guess.
Yeah, we do that well. This next one is from Poop Jomes, and his title is Highly Underrated. And they say, I listen to the podcast to help pass the time while my LaCroix are in the oven.
Fresh baked LaCroix.
Yeah. The hot LaCroix thing is something that really makes me laugh now.
People have been latching onto that one lately too.
Someone else started that follows us, and I just think it's funny that that's how LaCroix are best served as hot. Okay, next one is from, let's see, Ad Gradow, title JD Powers and Associates. Receives 5 out of 5 JD Powers and Associates awards. I agree.
Yep.
Perfect 5-star rating. Next one is from Logan Kramer, and his title is Legit. He says, "You had me at LaCroix, overpriced gym shorts, and apple pie."
It's the trifecta.
Yep. Kind of our podcast in a nutshell right there. Next one is from Fish Flopper. His title is Great Content. Wish I could drink a crispy beer with these fine gentlemen. You could always road trip.
Yeah. Nice road trip, or maybe next year at the Arnold or something.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Next one is from Nick Rolfe, who I think actually won Crispy Boy Summer Shirt of the Day today, now that I think about it. I think he was actually yesterday is Nick Rolfe. He said, "Big things are coming. I just need to know what happens when the road to 200 is complete. Maybe the discount code to increase the price of lift shorts. I need an excuse to give these guys more of my money. In the meantime, I will keep listening to the podcast to learn how to get strong, stay strong, and use your strength. Thanks for what you do with the podcast and all the rest."
I like that people still mention the discount code to increase the price of things.
Squarespace will not allow us to do that as of now. We're waiting for that update.
For some reason, our web platform doesn't allow you to increase the price with coupons.
No, but if you are like Nick and you're still looking for a way to give us more money, a great way to do that would be through our podcast supporting membership option on our website and our store.
Either the apple pie, LaCroix, or lift short level, whatever fits your budget.
Great way to give us more of your money. Okay, this next one is titled Podcast of the Year, and it's from none other than the president of Wyoming.
Wow. That is an honor.
Yes, great. And he says, "Thrilling, breathtaking, heartwarming, exhilarating. Will leave you on the edge of your seat. A motivational story about 2 South Dakota moguls who tell you how to get strong, stay strong, and use your strength. All this and more. In-depth LaCroix reviews, perfect to listen to while enjoying a crispy boy, listening to the thrilling segment, overrated, underrated, and most importantly, the first podcast to be purchased by both Spotify and Apple for a total of $1 billion. And don't forget, this is the only form of media to be nominated for an Oscar, Tony, Grammy, ESPY, and most importantly, a JD Powers Best in Class. Rotten Tomatoes score of 100%.
That's good. That's good.
That's a top tier review right there, especially getting another state president in the mix.
Yeah. I'm always happy to see state figures on board with our support.
That was a hell of a review right there. Okay, this one is from Not Strong Just Fat, and title is #Road to 200. Do you like beer? Do you like powerlifting? Do you enjoy mythical garments that put pounds on your total? Then this is the podcast for you. And in all seriousness, don't we all need a little levity and laughter right now? These guys deliver. I have never looked forward to conversations about local weather and apple pies. A break from the madness. Lastly, for those waiting for the reviews to hit 199 so you can ride in on your lift shorts and be the heralded 200th review, stop being cowards. This is only the beginning. #Road to 300. California contingency checking in.
God, see, that guy's got some vision. Road to 300. He knew what this was about.
That's smart. He said, stop being cowards. 200 isn't the end. 200 is just the beginning.
Yeah, I like that. That's some motivation right there.
That is. Next one is from Jackson Karnowski. He says, great podcast. The Massnomics podcast is often compared to warm LaCroix due to its watered down but refreshing content. However, I believe that a cockroach is a much more accurate comparison. Like the cockroach, the Massenomics podcast has been around since the beginning of time and will persist until the heat death of the universe. The Massenomics podcast can also lift over 20 times its weight like a cockroach. It is not called the world's strongest podcast for nothing. Very good.
Yeah, that's heavy.
We are the cockroach of podcasts. We just won't die. Okay. Next one is from JD Power's top associate. History awaits. I've never actually heard of this podcast, but I noticed they were closing in on the ever prestigious 200 review mark. I am leaving this review solely to be a part of history. Very
awesome.
Yeah. Next one is from Jim Riley 427. 5 JD Power Awards. Whether you are looking for how to get strong, stay strong, and use your strength, or you're looking to purchase an overpriced pair of lift shorts, or need to know the weather in the Midwest, or what fast food dessert you need to try, these are your guys. Nothing but the best. Next one is from Mr. McCheese. Great job, boys. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support, and well, you know the rest. Congrats on the big milestone. Keep showing people how to get strong, stay strong, and use your strength. That I like how they threw in just the ad read there. So
Yeah, they just gave us an ad. That's great.
Lifting Large owes these guys for sneaking another ad read into the show.
a third, actually a fourth ad.
Yeah. This one from Blazer Dakota. Big. Simply put, big. Spot on. And the last
Not
one.
wrong.
No, the last one from today is from Crispy King of California.
Whoa.
Not just presidents. Now we have kings of states. And his title is 201. He says 200 5-star review might be the world record. I'm not quite sure if it counts if it isn't live. But if I had I think that's is that like a Thor Bjornsson
Could be.
there? Okay. But if I had my druthers, you'd be aiming for 201. Keep up the great show, guys. That is it.
Wow.
That was a lot.
That was a lot, but they were all very well put. No doubt that they were listeners of our podcast. They understand the ins and outs, the jokes, how to get strong, how to stay strong, all of it.
That was a lot of reading. I'm kind of tired of reading now. I don't know if if we had that many every week, I think we would probably have to start not reading them all every week.
We would have to. We would really have to fan it out to the best of the best at that point.
Yeah, but as for now, the policy stays as stands. If you leave us a 5-star review and it shows up that we're able to read it, we're going to read it because we are on the road to 300 now. Mm-hmm. So, Tommy, Phil, we talked about the baby. That was one of the things we agreed to do when we got to 200. But there was something even bigger than a brand new baby. Because a baby isn't actually that big. Like it's only like,
I mean, 8 pounds ish.
Right,
it's
right.
Really, in the scheme of things, relatively small.
Exactly.
But
We had something even bigger.
we did have something even bigger, and that something that was even bigger that now exists in Northeast South Dakota is the world's first Massenomics Billboard.
That's right.
And we realize what's missing from this world, and we don't let our local neighborhood know enough about Massenomics. So
Yeah, and the Massnomics podcast.
we now have a billboard in town. I got to pull this up so I don't get it wrong exactly. But this, if you've been following the podcast closely, this fits in very well with what we've been doing. Right away, I have to give a shout out to the president of North Dakota for leaving us such a spot on podcast review.
Well, and since we're on the road to 200 podcast reviews, that was the big deal we were chasing. We figured it would be fitting for this billboard to choose one of our favorite podcast reviews.
Yeah, and because it was such a well-written podcast review, we couldn't get it all to fit. But what it now exists on a fairly busy street in our town is a large red billboard. We'll have a picture of it. It'll be
you'll see it today. If you're listening to this, you can see it somewhere at this point.
But the billboard says, easily in the top 5 of lifting podcasts to ever come out of Northeast South Dakota, quoted from the president of North Dakota. And then on the bottom it says the Massenomics podcast with the Massenomics M logo. So we know how awesome we are. You guys know how awesome we are. I don't think anyone in our town knows how awesome we are. So now everyone in our town will know how awesome we are when they see our massive billboard.
Yeah, and it went up June 1st is the day that it went up. It went up the morning of June 1st. We knew which billboard it was going to go up on, and I had been monitoring it to see when, we knew about when it would go up to, and I drove by the morning of, it wasn't there, and I came back later that afternoon, and I was like, it's, even though I knew it was going to be there at some point in time, when I first saw it, I was like, there is a Massenomics billboard. That is something.
Yeah. And I like it. We have a group Snapchat for the people in the gym. And someone had mentioned what the hell is this? Because we didn't say anything to anyone. And if you're just driving down the road and you feel like you're seeing a Massenomics billboard, and then if you read it talking about how it's the best, it's in the top 5 of lifting podcasts out of Northeast South Dakota, and it was reviewed by the president of North Dakota, the whole thing makes no sense at all.
And that's part of why we chose that, because we knew putting up a Massenomics billboard, we're not in our town.
We'll do nothing.
No.
It's
yeah.
There's no way you live in our town and are interested in powerlifting, strongman, stuff like that, and don't know who we are. That's not possible.
Right.
So, local advertising doesn't really do much for us, but this is more of us, a way for us to celebrate ourselves and for all of you that have been along for the ride.
And
especially the president of North Dakota.
Exactly. It's only one person's review that gets to be up there, but really collectively, everyone that's left a review, you can feel like you're a part of that billboard. I think you played a part in that billboard existing if you chose to leave a review on the road to 200.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all of our billboards. So keep those reviews coming in. We'd love to do more billboards.
I think we would do if we get to 300 someday, we'll pick our next favorite fitting one, and we'll put it on a billboard too.
Yeah, and I mean by that point, if we get to 300 even relatively soon, we might even just run a contest for best billboard idea, and we'll just make it and do it for you. So so
that's a good idea too.
We don't have anything to uphold over here. So if you got a great idea, leave us a podcast review, but then also shoot us some ideas, and we'll put the money behind it to do a billboard.
Yeah, I do like you mentioned the Snapchat group. The guy that first saw it, even he said, I literally had to stop and turn around and drive back by it because I wasn't sure what I just saw.
Yeah. Yep.
I
did it.
I drive down that road relatively frequently, or I could choose that road or other roads, but lately I've been going down there just because every time I have to look at it, I'm like, there it is. It's still there.
Just go, yeah. Yeah. It was, for me, it really felt like I had 2 babies growing up. I left the hospital with my newborn, and while I'm driving from the hospital, I drive down the road and I see a Massenomics billboard for the first time in my life. I'm like, oh, this is like 2 firsts for me.
Yeah,
This is special.
How did your baby like it?
Heath is like, Dad, you're so cool, man. Yeah, thanks, baby.
You're like, Dad, your company has a billboard in town? Dang, I was born into the right family.
I'm like, baby, you're going to learn something about lift shorts. It's not going to make much sense now, but trust me, one day it'll all come around.
Yeah.
Well, one day when you're older, we're going to sit down with a LaCroix and an apple pie and have a little conversation. So thank you for everyone that made the road to 200 a success, made the billboard possible. And like we say with this podcast, we're just going to keep going. So who knows what could happen on the road to 300.
The cockroach of lifting podcasts about nothing. Actually, in the top 5 lifting podcasts of Northeast South Dakota.
Yeah, that's not easy to do.
One of the guys from the gym was asking me about it, and they're like, kind of, he's asking about it, and he's like, is that supposed to make sense or anything? I'm like, no, it purposely doesn't make sense. And he's like, top 5 of lifting podcasts in Northeast South Dakota. You have to be like the only one in Northeast South Dakota, right? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're the only one in the state of South Dakota.
I would say there's maybe 5 in the Midwest, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not count, like maybe our 3 or 4 state area here.
Right. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yep.
All right. We're going to hear from our sponsors now.
All right.
The Massenomics podcast is brought to you by Spud Inc. and the Master Blaster Ruck Pack Sled. This piece of equipment is going to be your new favorite enemy. A combination of cardio punishment and muscle endurance is what you have in store for you when using the Ruck Pack Sled. Simply strap into the weight and put the pack on to do long ruck hikes, lunges, stairs, runs, etc. When you want a little different type of punishment, simply take the pack off and put a sled strap on the pack and start sled dragging just by flipping your harness around the plates. This will be one of the most versatile tools you have in your arsenal for building muscle, burning fat, and getting in great shape. Check out the Spud Inc. Blaster Ruck Pack Sled online at spud-ink-straps.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large showing up in the show again. Ad number 3, and we're not even done yet. Lifting Large sets the new standard for customer service within the strength world. Get email responses in hours, not days. They now have live website chat support available during the weekdays, so you can get advice from a real power lifter with actual platform experience. The Lifting Large team wants to help you achieve new PRs in the gym and on the competition stage. When you're ready to try single ply and make your way to the dark side, give them a call. Lifting Large is home to the Ground Lock deadlift slipper, and it's always in stock and always ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. That's MASS20 to save 20% on all Lifting Large branded items. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's liftinglarge.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS, that's MASS, in all caps for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. And today's show is also brought to you by the good people at Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe and began addressing the known issues. By 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, Massenomics, international, Massenomics, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. Thank you to our sponsors.
Damn good sponsors.
Great sponsors. Okay, Tanner. So we've moved on from the road to 200. We're starting our journey on the road to 300, which means we got to talk about stuff now.
Damn. I was just hoping to talk about podcast reviews for this whole episode.
Podcast reviews and ads. We're going to work our way there, but today we did almost half of the episode as that. So we're getting better every day.
Yeah.
But now we'll get into some happenings in the world of lifting and all of that good stuff. The first one that I want to talk about is I think this was yesterday, Open Powerlifting released a graph of sorting. They took all the people in their database. This is just men now. Sorting them by how much they can bench and seeing what percentile that places you in. So right off the bat, Tanner, you are in the top 1.29% of all bench pressers that have ever competed. How does that feel?
It's all right, but I was really been shooting for the top 1.28%, so it's a little bit of a letdown.
A little bit of a slap in the face.
That's
punch in the shorts.
I would say that seems more elite than what I would have guessed. Like if you just asked me to guess where my bench would put me, I wouldn't say at 1.29%. That seems like a really tiny.
It does. Like I was actually shocked by the two. Okay, one thing though, have you benched over 450 in competition?
No, and that's what I was gonna say. So in the gym, I've done 475, but in competition, I've done 440. So what does that actually put me at?
Okay, so then you're in the top 3.9%.
Okay.
But even there,
you are
really
in the very
top end of that range. So you're probably really still are in the top like 2.2%.
Right.
But yeah, I was a little shocked by that. My highest competition bench ever is I think like 325 or 324, whatever that kilo break is there. But that puts me in the top 21.1. Oh, sorry, top 24.4%. And
So in the top,
I even
the
thought
top
that seemed a
quarter.
little high. Yeah, I even thought that seemed a little high. But I guess once you start doing it, you know, you get used to just being like, especially if you're around bigger people,
Right.
You just get used to, well, you're bigger, benching 350-ish in there, or anywhere from 300 to 350. That's like, oh, that's just what people do when you weigh around 200-ish pounds.
Right.
And you forget that there is also a lot of weight classes below that where things getting over 300 is a very respectable bench.
Right. Right. For sure.
And really, by all measures, over 300 is a respectable bench at any time. You know, that's nothing that doesn't happen accidentally.
No, we've said it up many times before. You just get desensitized, from being around people that are really strong, and like B, having Instagram where you just see the most ridiculous stuff in the world. Like you start
where
to
everyone benches 500
Right,
plus.
right. You start to be like, well, 300, like I just watched 10 people bench 500 on the internet today. You know, like you do.
Yeah.
It is easy to forget that is a lot more than what most people are doing.
But we do have numbers to prove now that approximately 98% of people are on the road to 500 for a bench press. So the numbers are there.
Yes, 98% are on the road. #road to 500.
Yeah, #road to 500. So, yeah, it's big benches are much harder to come by than what you think they are.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
Is the takeaway from this.
Right.
And the biggest takeaway is in the 700 to 749 range pounds we're talking, there's only 5 people that have ever done that. And 750 plus, Julius Maddox is the only one. And he is shortly here going to be going for 800, which
Right.
is like, okay, the line is 700 to 749 and then potentially 800.
Yeah. Did you see though that maybe he is a human being? Did you see what he did this week?
Yeah, he had a miss at what, 790?
790, I think. Yeah. I don't know that missing 790 still qualifies as making someone human, but a barely missing
that
790
is as loose as you could possibly ever use that term.
Right. But it was interesting to note, I'm sure he's missed reps before in his life, but I can't recall over this run of his ridiculous benching. Like, I can't remember seeing him do something where it's like, even like, oh, that looked hard, or, you know, that.
Yeah. And it wasn't like he just completely bombed out on it. Like, he didn't bring it down. It just sat on his chest.
No.
He just didn't lock it out like his
Right.
other ones. But with how easy his things move, I wouldn't be surprised if on meet day he just shows up and throws it up. Like, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. I wonder, like, mentally, that's a little bit of a challenge, I suppose, for someone if they, you know, I'm sure he didn't want to miss that, obviously.
No, that's never ideal to be missing a big lift under what you're going for going into a meet.
Right. But I suppose, you know, there's still peaking to be done and that sort of thing. So I by no means believe that the 800 is ruled out because of that, but I imagine that does not help.
Mentally, it's a hurdle probably mentally more than anything.
Right. Yes, I agree. So that's our open powerlifting stat of the day segment right there. Is what we just
it's
did.
been a while since we had one of those.
The open powerlifting stat of the day segment brought to you by our friends over at Open Powerlifting.
Yeah, thanks for that. And also in lifting related news, as the world slowly decides to start opening up in various capacities here due to the coronavirus, Tanner, you ran across, like, the USAPL has released a formal set of rules for competitions going forward.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if I'm not sure if it's effective immediately or effective relatively soon here. I don't know what the date was, but they have a plan for competitions going forward that they will be allowed to go on. Everyone there, including the competitors, will have to wear a mask. So even as you're squatting, you know, you'd be wearing a mask. Cloth and homemade masks are allowed. I did think it was interesting. They did note that there was some rules about, like, branding on the masks. Oh, just like there is with everything with them. Like,
of course, right?
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
no brands. Yeah, no brand rides for free.
Right.
Here.
I'm like, oh, come on. Like, even on the mask, like, my God.
We are in unprecedented times, but we stand true to our corporate overlords.
Yes. And then what else? There was rules about they were going to waive the equipment check-in, which is interesting. It makes sense completely.
It does make sense. It's the most touchy-feely process of the whole thing, probably.
But interesting to think that in USAPL that they wouldn't, but they did say that they would spot check if they wanted to. So if something looked fishy, they would get you, I'm sure. But it's funny to think that they would just completely waive that for how particular. Like I've been at meets where, and you have too, where they check everything pretty closely, and like there's been certain wraps at times I remember for a meet where it took some convincing that I would even be allowed to use them, and they were just wrist wraps. Like it was nothing. It wasn't.
Nothing
Right. No, not at all. And what are some of the other rules? The weigh-ins. They really laid everything out kind of from start to finish. They kind of had a plan for all of it. The other thing was these sessions could only be up to 2 flights at a time of a max of 14 each. And those 2 flights would have to run all the way through all their lifts and have like an awards and do everything and drug testing. And then they could start another session of that. But to me, I'm like, how are you doing more than one of those in a day? Maybe.
Oh, that's what I think. It like in my head, that's got to just murder the time frame to get these things done. Like it's so hard. It's obviously the most efficient way to do things is just batch them together so you can do them all at once. And so to like run a whole meet, get done, shoo everyone out, and then be like, okay, we're going to start up and run another meet. Oh, that's got to be so slow.
Imagine that for spotters and loaders and stuff. They got to switch out all the events more than once.
All right, now that the platform's cleared off, everyone's done deadlifting. Bring the combo rack back out. We got to get everything set up and ready to go.
Right. To me, that's more so saying that the meets are going to be limited to 28 competitors if you're going to hold one is the way I would look at that, because otherwise,
it's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah, that's not very practical.
And also, like, if you're having a meet, and I don't think it's unreasonable for a lot of people to say meets take 8 hours or so.
Yeah.
More or less, depending on how full the meet is. But I don't think 8 hours is an unreasonable time frame. To now have to think that you're probably just with all the extra messing around. If they want to get done in 8 hours, that means the whole flight, the whole lifting on your end is going to have to be done in 3 hours. Like, that's a lot of lifting to get done. Yeah. Maxing out and warming up in all 3 things in 3 hours. That's a fairly tight time frame.
Yep. Yeah, it is. So it's interesting. Eventually here, we're going to actually see some meets go on probably. And Julius's thing is a meet where he's planning on doing the 800. I think it's just a bench only USPA meet, but I'll be curious to see footage of that first meet that goes on and see what it actually looks like and how things go.
Yeah, I will be too. And I mean, it's good being proactive and have some type of plan, and don't let it just be like, whatever people feel like doing is fine. Like, right. To me, that kind of is the point of a federation, is to offer some guidance and rules on, okay, this is how we should be doing it, and safety is a concern, so we should be watching out for this stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting to just, I'm not sure, is there going to be that many people competing even going in the next 6 months? A lot of people have had gyms closed.
Right, yes. A lot of people haven't been able to train like normal.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's a huge demand for people to be like, I need to get in a meet right now. Like, that just doesn't seem like it is. But I mean, there's always going to be people that you hold a meet, they're going to show up. It doesn't matter if they're going to have a PR or significantly worse performance than what they've done in the past. Some people just like to do meets.
Right. Yeah. So I guess we'll see. Interesting too, as I just thought about this right now. Did you hear what the NBA is doing for the rest of their season now?
Well, so I was kind of catching just pieces of this on TV. Is everyone going to Disney World? Is that what they're doing?
Orlando. Well, not everyone. 22 teams. 22 of the teams.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. 22 teams. Yeah. And is it like did they take the top 10 or something, or 11 in each conference, or what were they doing?
Yeah, I think it's the 16 is what will go to the 16 will go to the playoffs like normal, and then they decided to take an additional what's that leave then 6 more, so like the next best 6 that have a shot of making the playoffs, so they can play these remaining games and have a shot of still getting in. And it's in like this complex in Orlando, and I don't know if there's maybe like 3 or 4 different arenas there that they'll play these games, and they're all kind of on semi-lockdown there, even though Orlando team, Orlando would be one that's there, but they'd still be in the bubble, like quote unquote, they'd be
Which
within the
makes
bubble.
sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like some teams that would come in, especially like the New York teams, they will have to be quarantined for like 2 weeks there before they can,
Play.
Yeah,
So,
play.
is this going to be like any type of regular season, or is this going straight into playoffs?
No, this is they're finishing the regular season. The schedule is loosely based off of what the remaining schedule would have been, but they're basically jam-packing these games in to a shorter amount of time, and I'm not sure a normal NBA season is 82 games. I don't think that they're going to go for 82 games, to finish out the season with the full 82. But I don't think they've really completely released the schedule of what these games are going to be, but they're going to be tighter, compacted. They're going to play like multiple games in a day in these arenas. Like they'll be
like the same team.
No.
Multiple games? Oh,
no.
Yeah.
Like, but they'll play
it's
like
just be like cycling
Yeah.
people out, like you're in a tournament
right,
like when you're kids.
Right. Yes, exactly. But it's funny because it's instead of like your 5th grade YMCA basketball tournament, it's LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics and
I'm assuming like no crowd, right?
I think so. I didn't really see the specifics on that, but that was certainly my assumption is no crowd. It'll be they'll be videoed, televised, I'm sure. There's a certain number of people required to be there to just like
I would be shocked if even like this bare bones crew is less than 100 people between all of the
they're
just the broadcasting people. Can you do full broadcast like that and not have 100 people?
I would say it'll be like 500 people probably, like honestly, because the teams, the trainers,
I was gonna say the trainers, all of the support staff,
security,
coaches, everything. Yeah, security. Do you still need people to open and run the venue?
Right.
You need
honestly,
janitors going in.
I figured if their game's going on, there'll be like 500 people there, I bet. But it is a huge stadium, so theoretically, most of those people wouldn't be on top of each other, I suppose. But it would require hundreds of people there for sure. Like, there's no way around it, I don't think.
And that's the thing. It's like you can't quarantine all of those people.
No, right.
So
they
like,
work. Especially like people that work there. But what else about it? I just thought it's really interesting. And then they'll go into the playoffs, and the playoffs won't finish until like October. And then
so they are going that late.
Yeah, and then the next season would normally start in like a week or two after that. So the next season is going to have to be like pushed back a little bit because they're going to need some sort of break after the playoffs. But it's. I'm really curious to see how it works out and everything. Like, I'm glad that they're starting to do something, but I'd be curious to see. It's like it's such a crazy circumstance, like for these NBA players. Like, it's normal if you're a 5th grade, 8th grade basketball player, but like
that your game gets snowed out and you have to reschedule your game. But that'll be, I mean, I'm all on board for creative thinking and ways for people to figure out how to make this stuff work. It'll be really interesting to see how it plays out with this whole thing. I've never been, like recently, the last few years, I haven't been a huge fan of the NBA. I do think there's some really, really good talent. I just haven't followed it super close.
Yeah.
But with no sports going on, I'm like, I want to watch something.
Yeah,
Give me something to watch. So I could see myself watching quite a few games if it gets back on here.
And they have said, some of these people just by averages or the numbers, somebody's going to get coronavirus. Like it's going to happen.
I don't know how you couldn't.
And they said they're not shutting down if that happens. I suppose if things got wild, where like the whole league is getting it, they would change. But in the case of someone an individual getting it, they're not going to shut this down. That person will be. They'll handle that on a one-off basis, but they did have a plan for that, which you would have to. Like, you can't go into it assuming it's not going to happen.
They also have the old ace in their sleeve that most people don't, and that's they're super, super rich and well-connected.
Yes, right.
So when things don't go right, you have like unlimited resources for things to get fixed, which everyone else in the world doesn't.
And it sounded like the players are going to get tested every day. Mm-hmm. Like, they'll be testing them every single day for coronavirus, which something like that. I may be blurring some of the stuff, but that's kind of what it sounded like, is they'll be tested almost constantly while they're there.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
But for the players, I think this was technically an owner's decision or a league decision, but for the players, some may not play. Like, it'll be up to their decision, but as it is now, they're not getting their normal game checks because they're not playing.
I saw that, yeah. Yep.
So a lot of them are going to want to play games because
get a
they want to
paycheck.
start getting paid like normal. I'm sure.
Yep.
Like, granted, they're rich. Most of the you tend to think like with sports, you tend to think of the really rich guys. Like, oh, LeBron James, what does he need another paycheck for?
yeah,
but
that's not
right.
He is one of a couple guys, like literally a couple guys in the league that's at that level.
And like the people that even make the league minimum, granted, are still making a lot of money, but a lot of those guys probably have a lot of bills and like, you know, and a lot of money is relative. Like there's probably
and family.
Yeah.
And with that comes an inflated lifestyle. Yeah. So it's.
And like, there's some of those guys that are probably making a few $100,000 a year, I suppose. Which I mean, seems really silly to say like it's not a lot, but I mean it's just not what you sometimes think of like as these rich professional athletes. You know, it's not like. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of them want to start making money again.
Yeah. I'm sure they are. And well, your same thing, your athletic window is
right
in the scheme of life, relatively small. And I mean, you could go into a game and get hurt and that paycheck's gone forever. Or whatever happens with all of this stuff, you could get in a car accident, you know, and it's like, oh, okay, I can't play in the NBA anymore. Right. So it's like, I'm sure while the window's there, you want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it'll be really interesting to see if they can get something going and what that looks like in this day and age.
Yeah, for sure.
Tanner, we are getting down towards the end of the podcast. Should we?
Well, luckily for you and everyone else here, we have a little game prepared, something I like to call overrated, underrated.
I do have one bit of follow-up on overrated, underrated. Yes. I was, Wheel of Fortune was on the other day. Oh. And one of the sponsors on Wheel of Fortune was like Margaritaville. Margaritaville kept coming up. And I had to do a double take. There is actually a Margaritaville like senior planned community you can live in. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
And I have it pulled up here. There's 3 locations. One of them is called, so this is Latitude Margaritaville in Daytona Beach, Florida.
That seems like an appropriate place.
Inspired by Jimmy Buffett and his iconic songs. This new development will feature restaurants and bars that serve cheeseburgers in paradise and plenty of frozen concoctions. So if you want to live in the real Margaritaville, you can actually do that now. Prices range from $250,000 to $400,000 for the villas and single family homes.
A family home, are you gonna move there with your family?
Well,
yeah,
I think when it says it does say like, age restricted, so I'm assuming you probably have to be like over 55 to live there.
And single family just meaning it's not a townhouse or a condo or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's like you and your spouse live there probably.
Right. Yeah. Can't imagine people wanting to move into a place like that. That's called I mean, it might be all right and stuff, but it just seems so gimmicky for like what you want to base your entire life around.
It says right here they're claiming they are one of the 50 best master plan communities in the United States.
And I suppose it could just be really nice and like it's like you just
if it is just really nice and not like overly
a gimmick,
over the top, overly like they don't have just life-size statues of Jimmy Buffett everywhere.
Yeah, right.
So something to strive for in life.
I thought you were going to say maybe one of the main sponsors was McDonald's apple pies.
yeah, that would be even better. Margaritaville.
Brought to you by McDonald's apple pie. The McDonald's apple pie.
Yeah, that I think maybe we should pitch that to McDonald's and then collect a finder's fee for giving them that matchup.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, topic number 1 this week. Are you ready, Tommy?
I am ready.
Overrated or underrated? Dad jokes.
Dad jokes.
You might be looking at this in a different light now this week.
I know. I was going to say, I would say they were a little overrated, but now that I'm formally a part of the club, I probably have to go underrated. They have a whole new take on things, I guess, now from my perspective in life. So I think I'll say once you've crossed that line, it's now underrated.
Have you been brushing up on dad jokes yet or anything like that? Or?
I haven't. No. I've only been a dad for like 3 days, Tanner. You got to give me
Hasn't anyone given you the handbook yet?
I have not, actually. I've not got it yet.
Usually as you leave the hospital, they give you hand one of those out, I figured. But
yep. I must have missed the person that
it comes with a pamphlet full of dad jokes and a pair of Nike, what are they?
Air
Monarchs. And they're like, here you go. You're lame now.
or like a list of like, if these aren't available, see New Balance 504 or whatever it is.
Right. But you did say underrated on dad jokes.
I did say underrated.
Is that really how you feel, or is that
for now?
Okay.
For now, it's how I feel.
Overrated or underrated? Yum Yum sauce.
I hate the name. The name sounds like that has to be like the most. Like, there's no way that Yum Yum sauce. Okay, you're talking, for people that don't know, you're talking about Yum Yum sauce like you go to an Asian restaurant of some kind and the sauce that they use there.
Yeah, not only that, you buy it at the store in the bottle now, and it's called Yum Yum sauce.
Yeah, that has to be something that like some savvy food marketer was like, oh, if we name this Yum Yum sauce, it'll really catch people's attention, right?
I don't know what the origins.
Is there any way the translation was directly just Yum Yum sauce?
Well, that's what I know so little about it. I don't know. Is like Yum Yum, like, was that the Oriental name of this sauce, or was just when these restaurants came over and they started popping them up in America, they just called it Yum Yum, like it's yummy sauce. I really didn't know.
I don't know. I've wondered the same thing because I wasn't, to be honest, super familiar with the name Yum Yum sauce until maybe the last year or so. I feel like it's really blown up in the number of places you see it. Yeah. But it's good. I think it tastes great. That's to me one of the awesome things about Asian cuisine is that the sauces like rule it, at least in the Asian restaurants I go to. The sauces are what it's all about. Like that's where all the flavor comes from, and you get some really crazy, awesome, fun, intense flavors. I think Yum Yum fits in there too. I'm not a fan of the name, but I do like the sauce, so I guess I'll say underrated.
We have a bottle of it in our refrigerator right now. My son will pretty much eat anything if it has Yum Yum sauce on it. So
Really?
Yeah.
I should get one for at home here.
Yeah. All right. Overrated or underrated? K-Swiss.
K-Swiss. Oh, K-Swiss.
And I guess I'm kind of saying the brand, but essentially I'm saying like the white shoes,
Well,
but I'm saying the brand.
But you are talking about K-Swiss, though.
Yeah.
You are talking about K-Swiss.
Yeah.
This is one of those. I will admit, I am a fan of sneakers and shoes and all that, but I'm like one of those people that sits on the sidelines of it. Like I follow numerous sneaker channels on YouTube where they talk about the shoes and review them. And I've always loved shoes. I just hate spending $200 on shoes. Like that's my thing that I always struggle with, especially in our part of the country where you could leave the house. You could have a really nice white pair of shoes that it's like, these are special. I only leave on nice occasions. You could leave the house on the most beautiful day. And because of where we live, you could get caught in the most craziest storm that's like blowing wind and mud and dust everywhere. And your shoes are ruined.
Yeah.
So that's why I have such a hard time with, and then winter time is just essentially 8 months of the year is off limits for wearing shoes that you care about around here. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
It's just you're walking in mud and salt
yeah.
and slush and disgusting stuff for so long. So the upper Midwest is a really tough place, in my opinion, to be a fan of nice sneakers.
Yeah.
With that being said, K-Swiss, how do they fit into the equation? I would say K-Swiss is, I don't like K-Swiss. I think K-Swiss shoes suck. I don't care for them at all. Not saying you're a bad person if you wear them. I just think that they're really lame. They had their time of, they had their time in the spotlight in like the late 90s, maybe.
I had some at some point, when I was in the.
Lots of people did. Lots of people did. Actually, I think I did probably in middle school. I think I probably had a pair then. That probably would have been right around 2000-ish. Yeah. But I think the company sucks. And I think most people would say the same thing too. So that wouldn't you say that means that they're underrated? But I can't give K-Swiss an underrated. I can't do it. Like I can't say that. Yeah. So I have to say K-Swiss is overrated.
Overrated on the K-Swiss. The iconic white sneaker.
The iconic 5-stripe brand.
Yeah. Okay, last topic for today of overrated, underrated. Overrated or underrated spike ball?
Spike ball. I've only played spike ball once. I got spike ball as a wedding gift. and haven't actually taken it out of the box and played with it yet. I'd love to.
That,
it's one of those
brings
things
me to
why
why spike ball is a topic today. One time at your house, I saw it sitting there, and I always thought, oh, I'll use that as a topic someday. And I forgot about it, and then thought of it again one day.
Yeah, I have played it one time, and the one time I played it, I'm like, this is fun. I had a good time. Like if you're outside and you're gonna set it up and do it, it can be a fun little thing to do. But it's probably have you ever seen people play it on TV?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was came through Shark Tank at one point in time.
Oh,
even,
it could.
I think I remember seeing it on
It's
Shark
possible.
Tank. Someone can fact check that, but I think it's one.
You get some pretty good volleys, rallies, however you describe it.
Is it like that when you play it, or is it more like, oh, everyone sucks, this isn't any fun?
No, I've seen some pretty good ones go.
Okay.
Like that go for like some hits, like you do with volleyball. I mean, you can get several hits back and forth going.
Yeah.
You can also see though too when people do get really good, like it on the offense, it can be really hard to stop it.
Yeah.
Which is how a lot of things go. When you got the serve, it can be hard to have any defense against that.
Right.
But spike ball, it's probably underrated. I don't think many people know about it, do they?
I don't know. I'm probably not, because I don't feel like I've ever heard anyone talk about it. Or
if people don't know what we're talking about, spike ball, it's basically like, imagine a mini trampoline.
Yep.
And then you spike a ball at it, and the ball bounces into the air, and you play it with four people. You and a teammate versus two other people that are on a team together, and you pretty much have unlimited volleys. I think, if I'm remembering the rules correctly, you pretty much have unlimited volleys to get it back to the trampoline, and then you have to spike it. And as soon as it spikes the trampoline, the ball hits the trampoline. It's now the other team's turn to, put a rally together on it. But
how much does that thing cost? Do you think? Is it like $100 or $50? Or
No. I think it's like 50.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll tell you right now. Spike ball. You can get the entire setup for spike ball, the little trampoline net thing, a bag, the balls to go with it for $60.
Okay.
Pretty cheap way to have some fun in the backyard. So I will say underrated.
Underrated for spike ball. All right. That brings us to the end of Overrated Underrated, and brings us close to the end of episode 218. What a ride this one has been. There was new babies, billboards, K-Swiss. Those are probably the equal 3 highlights, all equally important in our lives. What about our stuff? We actually, there's a new shirt coming out that by the time this episode comes out, hopefully that new shirt is available. Should we talk about it or not talk about it then? Or
we should actually, because I mean, if it's not out, it will be out any day. I mean, they are on their way here. So yeah, it is the 8-bit powerlifting tee.
Right.
And this is it has some nods to the classic video games of yesteryear.
Yeah.
And it's just got a cool flair to it. We got a guy squatting in some really old school video game style graphic.
Yep.
And it looks like something that you would see on a cartridge from back in the day. It's a different shirt for us, but I think it's really cool.
It is way different than anything we've done, right? Like, I mean, it's not. It's probably not in the.
It's different. Yeah, it's way different. I think it's still. I think if you look at our brand,
it fits in.
Yeah.
I think it fits in perfectly. But it's just like we just haven't done anything quite like it before. So it's pretty cool. We're both excited for it. I as of the time we're recording it, we still haven't actually seen it, but it is very close to on the way and getting here really soon.
It should be. Yeah, it should be showing up any day. In the off chance it doesn't show up tomorrow, then it should be here right away next week. So there is a chance if you listen to this podcast really early, it's not live yet, but it will be any day now.
And it's printed on the same shirt that we did our white lift and our white blue ribbon shirt on, which a lot of people have said they really, really like the fit of that shirt. So we're maybe
just slightly more fitted than our regular shirt.
Yep.
A closer fit in style to like the Don't Curl in Me
and the curls.
Or the curl shirt. Yeah. But it's a very nice shirt.
It is. I'm excited to see it. And
Me too.
I'm excited for all of you to buy it out of stock.
Yep. Get them.
So that's our stuff. But we, of course, have to talk about our sponsors again. And if you've noticed, Tommy, maybe you've noticed this, everyone that sponsored our show, they've always continued to be sponsors of our show.
They have.
And that's a,
They've had a lot of chances to get out,
Yeah.
but we just keep pulling them back in.
That's a good sign. I think it's a good sign that the Massenomics podcast is doing something right, and it shows that we're working with 4 pretty cool companies, I think, here that are all pretty.
Well, and I think it also shows that our listeners get what's up when they're supporting these brands.
That's right. That's right. So the 4 of them, the fearsome foursome, is Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. Use our code MASS, M-A-S-S, in all caps for 5% off any training or nutrition membership for the entire life of your membership. Visit hybridperformancemethod.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Caps was on a mission to make the best bar possible, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house, had the best knurling, and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of Massenomics, and Massenomics records have been set and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of your own legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. There's also world records, I think, too. Today's show's
maybe 1 or 2 world.
Yeah. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home to the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners, because you're so special, can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using our discount code MASS20 when you check out. Thank you, sponsors. That's pretty much 218 in the bag. Tommy, where do people find you on Instagram?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can find me at Tanner_Baird, but more importantly, check out Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.
Later.